Hi, Gareth. I'm excited to see you again with the Tendrils podcast. And a lot of things have been going on lately with you and with me also. I hear you're planning to go to New Mexico, which is my home state. What are you going to be doing over there?
I'm going to be learning about how to prevent opioid overdoses. Sounds pretty heavy, but it's going to be with the National Harm Reduction Coalition, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think that harm reduction is huge. It When I was in started falling apart in 77 or 79, I started to cut myself a lot. And it was just an obsession. And I was cutting myself all the time. And, I had never heard of anybody cutting themselves. It was spontaneous
Mm.
from the intense pain I was going through. I needed to express the pain. And eventually, through occupational therapy, I learned that paint could be used to as an expressive thing, and I was not needing to cut myself anymore. But toward the end, the last 6 months, I cut myself for about 14 years, just over and
Oh
over and
my.
over.
Well,
Yeah, there was no hope in the system except that this one occupational therapy happened to help me. And The last 6 months, I was cutting less and less and less, and thank goodness, because I had been cutting very deep, and it was getting dangerous. But I think that harm reduction is everything. It's forgiveness. As we begin to release the harmful activity, we can bring in the positive or the light. It's like for myself, cutting was a darkness. I was trying to find a way to express what I could not express in words. And as Gabor Mata says, addiction is what I think you would say is addiction is, abandonment, basically, that we become abandoned. We have to fill that void with something. And eventually we can bring in the more beautiful space. And Native Americans have been in a void, on particularly where I was raised in the reservation. So, having lost everything, lost their country and lost their dignity, their science, their art, their math, everything was suppressed by this dominant culture. But now they are coming back to find that light again. And I always say culture clash is hell. Culture clash is murder. But culture clash is necessary. It is like the rocks crashing up against, I mean, the ocean crashing up against the rocks. This is how uh, uh, societies evolve and become stronger with the new colors and the new ways of being. And we can preserve the originals. Those are like heritage seeds. And we can also create new uh, patterns and forms. So when we talk about trauma, I mean, we're in waves of culture clash in the United States, particularly, but we can gently use things such as harm reduction to understand that there is forgiveness, patience, and love in the universe.
how did that work?
For me, for cutting your is that what you
Yeah. How did you end the behavior that you've been doing for 14 years?
It was understanding. It was just understanding that, for one thing, I'd been in therapy, psychotherapy, which is the only therapy, talk therapy, that I'm confident of. And so I had been getting better understanding that the darkness was, you know, there was not only darkness, that there was understanding of how, of why I went through so much pain, my family went through so much terror and pain and sorrow. But then there was also this occupational therapist who taught me that, every human being is built to express. The flow is resource contribution, resource development and contribution. Every human being has to take in the resources that they are given. If they're given poison water, they take that in and they emote poison water.
Mm.
But so I went into emergency room one day, and at the very, very end of the cutting, and it was getting serious for me. And I have seen people who have been cut from their heads to their toes, every inch of their body cut to pieces, and it just continuous, and many of them die because the system does not understand the expression. What they are doing is absolutely suppressing the expression, and there has to be some kind of a suppression for some people, because they'll kill themselves before they understand, before they get the light.
Mm.
But I went into the emergency room, and the nurse started screaming at me. I can't even get the needle into the scar tissue anymore. Why
Mm.
why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And when I left there, I said, I don't have to go through that anymore. I can paint. And not only did I have red paint, alizarin crimson watercolor, but then I had green paint, and then I had blue paint, and then I had white paint and black paint
Mhm.
and blue paint and every kind of paint. So it opened my whole life. I always say the shadows and the dragons in those caves that we are facing are our gifts. If we can learn to love them and to uh, tame them, and not use them as pets, but as companions, that we understand that our shadows, our darkest, most horrible things that we have survived, are what is going to turn into gold later.
How did yours turn into gold?
Well, for one thing, it's the art, that I'm crazy about color. But the other thing is, it's the X-Acto blade.
Mm.
There is nothing like, and this might sound gross to you, but uh, there's nothing like being able to carve tiny things on paper. There is nothing like using the X-Acto blade to design beautiful objects, to cut paper into very, very, very fine, fine, fine straight lines. It is very satisfying in my fingertips and in my soul to work with color and to work with objects like this, scissors and X-Acto knives. So, uh, I just think we have to express, humans, but it is just how we express that is gives us grace.
That's
And
a remarkable story.
I'm very excited that you're going to Albuquerque. Our people need you so much. And thank you for and by the way, I thank you for wearing red. Yeah, red
It's
is
sort of a reddish, I don't know what it is. It's got blue
yeah,
in it too.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very colorful top.
Exactly.
I
Structures and
bought it
systems.
years ago. I'm not even really sure where. Maybe at Catherine's. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, structures and systems can coexist and even collaborate, even though they do not look or act the same. And colors work together, even though they do not look or act the same. And I love the color red because it is happiness and it is also sacrifice.
Hmm. All right,
Thank
well,
you.
why don't we wrap it up for today?
Thank you for leading the Opportunity Club, and I will talk to you next week.
Again soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye.